Evening, and welcome to the July 24th Special Finance Committee meeting. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'm going to ask the clerk to please call a roll.
Councilwoman Graziano, Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Councilman Ritz,
Present.
Councilman Trafficante,
Present.
Councilwoman Horoyan, Council Vice President Wall,
Here.
Council President Marino. Present.
Okay, thank you. First item of business would be public comment. This would be public comment on docketed matters only. If you'd like to make public comment on docketed matters, please step up to the podium. You'll have 4 minutes. I request that you state your name and address for the record. Would anyone like to make public comment on docketed matters?
Hello? Okay. Good evening, and I just want to thank all of you. Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Elizabeth Larkin, 766 Boston Neck Road, Narragansett, Rhode Island, Cranston Teachers Alliance President, Parkview Middle School teacher. Okay, thanks. So I want to say thank you to Dan Wall, the chair of the Finance Committee, and to Jessica Marino, the president, for making this happen tonight. Because originally Cranston Public Schools said that it would be August 4th and then August 25th, but we actually are starting school very early this year. We're starting August 26th. So now that we would have our contracts done. So I greatly appreciate all of the conversations that we had, and then you connecting with the president to make this happen. And I also want to thank my committee as well, because they worked really, really hard to make this happen. And you all know that negotiating anything is very difficult. I represent over 1,220 employees of the Cranston Public Schools, and they have a variety of positions of all kinds. Everyone. I represent all the teachers, related service providers, oh, that just fell off. Oh, well, I don't know where it went. But anyway, at least I didn't bite it. But anyway, the paraprofessionals, the RBTs, and the bus aides. And in most cases, it is an overwhelming responsibility for a union president, because you're the only one sitting in the room that actually has to, everybody turns around and looks to finally making the agreement, and then you have to bring it back to 1,000-something people and explain it. This negotiations was particularly difficult because I, as president, was charged with looking at the actual culture and history of the Cranston Teachers Alliance contract in some aspects. And as we know, and I'm sure Councilman Trafficante can say, in some of this language, it's 60 years old, some of it is 50 years old. And I went back and spent days trying to go through contracts that we have in the office that were back to like 1960s. And I was charged with a very heavy burden. And the people that got me through that was my office, the officers of the Cranston Teachers Alliance, the committee of the Cranston Teachers Alliance, who were outstanding, and the executive board of the Cranston Teachers Alliance when I had to go over to the office. Because no one knows what it's like to walk in my shoes unless you're there. And so we're very proud that after hundreds and hundreds of hours in speculation, that we will, oh, a new one, that we came to an agreement. So I just want to thank those people that supported me over, at least towards the end, where it was very trying. But I will discuss more of information when I go to the full council. But I do appreciate this very much to move us forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Larkin. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to make public comment this evening? Seeing none, Janet, would there be anyone online who would like to make public comment?
I see no public comment.
So at this time, I'm going to close public comment, and we're going to move on to new matters before the committee. The first item for consideration, and just a programming note how I'm going to do it. We're first going to consider 72501, an ordinance to ratify the school committee's collective bargaining agreement with the Cranston Teachers Alliance, locals 1740 AFT. I'm going to ask perhaps Mr. Crudale and Mr. Balducci to perhaps come up to the microphone and perhaps introduce some of the finer points of the contract, and then I'll look for a motion from the committee.
Good evening, everyone. Joseph Balducci, Chief Financial Officer with Cranston Public Schools. Just a couple of broad statements, and Mr. Crudale and I are here to answer any questions you may have. Hopefully, everyone received the fiscal note that came over. Okay. So basically, this contract is a 3-year contract. Year 1, steps 1 to 10 receive a 0 contractual raise. Step 11, let me back up. In the past, there used to be a 12-step pay scale. We actually went down to an 11 steps pay scale. So again, steps 1 to 10, 0% contractual raise. Step 11, 3.75. In year 2, same situation. Steps 1 to 10, 0 contractual raise. Step 11, 2.75. And in year 3, 0 for steps 1 to 10, 2.75. Again, a couple of broad statements. One of the things we were able to do, the old step 1 was about 45,000 and change, very low in the state. But again, through the negotiating process, we were able to reestablish the new step 1 at about 51,000 and change. So I think that makes us more attractive for teachers, hopefully to come to Cranston. So again, the goal is to attract excellent teachers in the door, and hopefully they'll stay throughout their career. So I think this contract, we were able to do that. Budgetarily, I will tell you that year 1, the year we are currently in, again, the 2.9 million has been budgeted for. So there is no budgetary impact. So we were able to stay within budget. Years 2 and 3, I will say that, again, like we do normally, we will look for support from both the local and also the state in trying to manage our budget. But again, if you look in the out years, again, 2.3 and 2.4 in the out years. Again, when you look at the salary increases that a lot of the other teachers unions were getting throughout the state, our 3.5, 2.5, 2.5 is actually on the lower end. We were seeing raises as high as 4% in other districts. So I think we came in fiscally responsible with this contract. And again, so labor peace for the next 3 years.
Thank you, Mr. Balducci. Mr. Crudale, would you have anything to add?
No, I would just like to obviously first thank the Teachers Alliance and our administration. You know, negotiations is like a movie. You laugh, you cry. But I think ultimately, this is a great contract for the teachers. I thank the Teachers Alliance for working with us. There is some language changes to sick time, which we worked hard together to try and come to, and I know Ms. Larkin just talked about, you know, being charged with going back 60 years, and I know that was a big piece of it. So I just want to thank them for working with us and getting that done. And to what Mr. Balducci just said, it's financially is a good contract for the teachers. So I'm glad we were able to come to the table and get it done.
Thank you, Mr. Crudale. The only one person I'll ask to weigh in is Director Zadelis. I think he's back there. Looking forward at the contract, do you see any issues or concerns?
Mr. Chairman, a lot of conversations the last week with Mr. Balducci relative to the funding, and if we're graced with the amount of state aid we've received, yeah, there should be no problems. Just a cautionary tone, warning. One of the things we have, just timing wise, is in August of 2026, we'll be going to market with bonds for the original schools So the timing of that is just bad in conjunction with this. I'm just raising yellow flags. But on the flip side, we're seeing interest rates starting to go down, which will help us, provide a little room. So the 74% lowering interest rates and God willing, the support from the state in terms of state aid will make it easier. But collectively, I think the mayor, the superintendent and his body can work through, any issues.
Thank you, Director.
Mr. Council
Um,
President.
I'm going to
may I
take,
ask a question, Mr.
yeah, I'm going to
Sales?
go right around. Actually, I was just going to start with Mr. Trafficante, and just because I'm very methodical, I'm going to make a horseshoe around. Okay, so Mr. Trafficante, any questions you would have for any of them?
Mr. Dallas, are you talking about going for bonding for the $140 million bond or the $40 million bond?
It's a portion of both. Gladstone will be coming online in June or will be delivered June of
Can I
26.
interrupt? Because here's the issue, and I probably gave you a little more latitude than I should have on this matter. We're really discussing
and
the
we're-
contract. We're actually, that's,
Nope.
the bond isn't on the agenda this evening. So unfortunately, if we could narrow our scope.
I'll ask
you-
the question about the
Absolutely.
contract. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the administration and the Teachers Alliance for negotiating what I think is a very fair contract. It's not only a fair contract, I think it's a well-deserved contract. If you well know, in the previous 2 years, the teachers were very instrumental in helping the Cranston School Department and the Cranston School Committee to get by budgetarily because they accepted a 1.5% increase and a 1% increase in the last 2 years of their contract. So like I said, that's why I call this a well-deserved contract. And I want to congratulate both groups for negotiating such a contract. I have just a couple of minor questions. Mr. Balducci, you could just identify for me or clarify for me when you say service providers certification.
Sure. So if you look at the fiscal note, you will see footnote B. So one of the new stipends that is in this budget is for service providers such as school nurses, school psychologists,
Okay,
social
okay.
workers, clinical and occupational therapists.
Joe, I know healthcare is a big issue. In this contract, what did you budget for percentage-wise healthcare in your first year?
So again, from a contractual standpoint, negotiations, there was no change in the cost share. So again, the teachers will continue to pay 20% toward the cost of the plan for both health and dental.
And what did you budget for healthcare approximately?
For the year we're in right now,
Hmm.
approximately $1.2 million.
Okay. And the next question is, Joe, in the 2.4 or approximately $2.5 million salary increase, I assume the step increases are included in that.
They are not.
Oh, they're
So
not.
basically, this is just the contractual raise.
And
So annually, the step increases are somewhere around between the salary movement and the related pension impact on those salary movement. It's around $850,000.
okay. And Joe, I realize that the first, second, and third year, steps 1 through 10 are getting a 0. However, they are getting a step increase. And what's the percentage of the step increase?
Sure. So again, by default, those moving from step 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so forth, they're getting approximately a 6.1%.
Okay.
And then I believe 10 to 11, it's a 9.2% raise.
And my last question is this. I know you had approximately about 50 teachers on layoff
Mhm.
prior to negotiating this contract. Do you still have teachers on layoff after the conclusion of this
I'll
contract?
have Mr. Cordell respond.
Yep, so we currently have roughly 10 teachers, either through, and it's for various reasons. Some are for what we call non-renewals, and some are for budget cuts. But out of the 51, we've been able to recall a good number of them, but we still have about 10 that will remain on layoff.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Going right around. Council President?
Thank you. Similar to Councilman Trafficante, Mayor Trafficante's comments this evening, I do want to thank the school administration, Mr. Balducci, leadership with the superintendent, Mr. Cordeo, and the teachers union for all of your efforts with respect to this contract. I will be in support of this evening. I also would like to thank the school committee for approving it and putting it before us as well. I shouldn't overlook that either. I will say that the salary increases and increases overall, I understand the need for that. You know, obviously, every city and town is scraping and scrimping, trying to find money. However, we really need this here in Cranston. I know myself that there are some people I know that have left Cranston because they could get a better pay somewhere else in the state. And they really, some of them that I know didn't want to do that, but at the end of the day, they have to feed their families as well. So I'm in support of this. I appreciate all the hard work with respect to this contract, and thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just follow up
Councilman
with
Ritz.
the same comments, being a former school committee member. I know the work that goes in on both sides. The contract looks great. I'm very appreciative of it. I'm in support of the contract. I did have a question for Director Zealous. With years 2 and 3, do you foresee a tax increase at all?
Through the chair to the counselor, again, depending on how well we do with state aid. If it comes in as we've been seeing, it could possibly be no tax increase in support of this.
That was all I had.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman, no? All right, well, I'll finish up if no one has any further questions. First, having sat on a number of negotiation committees and with this collective bargaining unit, and also as a Providence teacher, sat on a Providence Teachers Union negotiating teams. I know, Mike's looking at me because he's been in the room with me. I know it's such a difficult job, and it takes a lot of time. It takes half a year, 8 months, I can think of at certain times, and it's not always easy. It's contentious. So I thank all the parties involved with the hard work they did to bring this to fruition. And also, as a fellow educator, I know, I'd looked at how far down in relation to other districts Cranston teachers were. So I'm happy to see, as Mr. Trafficani, I'll echo his statements, but well-deserved, is well-deserved. So I certainly will be in support of, and the chair would look favorable on a motion to approve number 72501, ordinance ratifying the school committee's collective bargaining agreement with the Cranston Teachers Alliance Local 1704 AFT.
So moved.
Second,
Is there any further discussion? There being none, I'm going to ask the clerk if you'd please call the roll.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilman Ritz,
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante.
yes.
Council Vice President Wall,
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving right on, the next ordinance for consideration would be 72502, which is an ordinance ratifying the school committee's collective bargaining agreement with the Cranston Teachers Alliance Local 1704 AFT Paraprofessionals Unit. This would be for the period of September 1 through 2025 to August 31st, 2028. I see you're at the podium already, Mr. Balducci. Would you like to speak of some of the finer points on this contract before I go have it considered?
Sure. So again, this is for the paraprofessionals. By definition, they include classroom aides, special education aides, bus aides. So it's those type of individuals that encompass this bargaining unit. So again, I'm going to refer to the fiscal note. In year 1, $1.25. So depending on average, because again, the movement from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, so forth. So it's approximately a 5.5% raise. Second year of the contract is 75-cent raise, or 3.3, and then same thing in year 3, a 75-cent raise, and again, approximately 3.3 raise. Similar to the other fiscal note, year 1, 25-26, the dollars assigned to this contract have been budgeted for within budget. So again, and same comment in the second and the third year, again, looking for additional support at both the state and the local level to help pay for this contract.
Thank you, Mr. Balducci.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Crudell, would you like to speak at all on this?
I think just, real quick, again, some of the things that were brought to the table, I think are beneficial to the paraprofessionals. You know, they'll see some money that will go into their pension contributions, that weren't being put in there, because they were kind of like extra pay. But now that we're building them into their salary, so that's good for them. They'll get that money put into their pension. So I think it's, again, just a well negotiated contract. And I think it's a good contract for the paraprofessionals.
Thank you, Mr. Crudale. Would you, I won't put words in your mouth, Mr. Director Zellis, would your comments be similar on this contract as well? That's fine. Okay, thank you. Would anyone like to ask any questions? And I'm gonna go, this time, I'm gonna go the reverse order, just as a methodical and fair person I am. So I'm gonna go from Councilman Andahar if he has any questions at this time.
So are the bus monitors included in this one? No?
Bus aides, bus monitors are non-union. So just bus aides.
Okay, thank you.
Going around? Going around?
Just thank you again, that I'll be in support. Thanks.
Councilman Trafficani?
Joe, just a quick question. I don't recall, are there steps involved in this also?
They do have a step move, yes.
I mean,
The classroom aides, the special education aides, they're on a 5-step scale. The bus aides are on a 10-step scale.
okay,
Mhm. So there was no restructuring of the steps, so they stayed the same.
all right. I just want to make one last comment. I want to thank the CTE president for identifying me with contracts that were negotiated 60 years ago.
Councilman Anda, I did have one more question.
So from my understanding, these are the teacher's aides, correct? Okay, so my mother was a teacher's aide for 20+ years in Providence. Are you offering them any type of classing or classing, self-advancement, any type of schooling, any credits, anything, or they're just getting a raise and that's it?
What do you mean, to advance their degrees?
Advance their degrees, advanced training?
No, I mean, they have to do the training prior for their paraprofessionals. We don't offer anything as far as going back to college to, you know, we do offer an incentive within the contract if they hold an associate's or a bachelor's degree. So there's a monetary incentive if they already hold that. But there's nothing in there, no incentive in the contract to send them back to school, if you're saying like to advance towards a teacher or anything like that. Is that what you're trying to?
I mean, I'm disappointed because they are the front line. I mean, I know the teachers are there, but a lot of these teachers' aides are basically the front line of these kids. So I would hope that in the future contract, there is some kind of incentive or some kind of training, or if a teacher's aide would like to take some kind of course, that would be offered, because I just feel that, no disrespect to the teachers, but you know, they get to advance, but it seems like the teachers' aides are just basically stuck.
Yeah,
So,
in that contract.
that's all I have to
I
say.
mean, you won't see it there
But
because
thank
it was
you.
in the current contract, but there is 8 hours of professional development that they get paid for built into the contract. But I understand what you're saying.
You're all set, Councilman Anda? All right. And just as I'll finish up, and I'll just say I'm happy to see an increase because I know this was, this collective bargaining unit had always seemed to be left out a lot of times. And I know they're not brought out to where they should be because they do an awful lot. They're important to the education, to the teachers and the students. So I'm pleased to see the increases. So I would once again look favorable on a motion to approve 72502, an ordinance ratifying the school committee's collective bargaining agreement with Cranston Teachers Alliance Local 1704 AFT Paraprofessionals Unit between the dates of September 1st, 2025 and August 31st, 2028. Is there a motion?
So moved. to approve.
Second,
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I see none. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Andujar?
Yes.
Councilman Ritz?
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante?
yes.
Council Vice President Wall?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes.
Thank you. And that, we have no further business before this committee, so I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you and good night.